That's your best so far today?
Yeah.
That was good. When we set up, we we set the club face in a position that we want to be close to when at impact. Then we go back. During going back, there is a small amount of opening of the club. It's not always turned. It's not just totally square and shut the whole time back. It'll get a little bit. There's a little bit of roll. It's not much. It's not radical. But on the downswing, the club face right now is pointing at you. And as we come down, we want the club pointing this way. So this club face has to turn 90 degrees before it hits the ball. There's a lot of your body parts are going to be involved in squaring that club. But what is simply the body turning? I can return the club square if I simply turn my body more. So it's not just with the hands. I've got to make sure that I am rotating. So at impact, I need your hips facing in front of the ball. So we're going to be like this at impact, not square. So you really want to feel yourself turn. Do a couple of practice swings and really rotate the club around with the rotation of the hip, the left hip. So you're almost hitting the ball with your left hip. So you want to make sure you're almost trying to deliver the club with the hip rotation into the ball. And that'll help. That is part of it. The rotation of that forearm is the other part. But I need to make sure that you're having the body rotate. That was really good. They had a little draw on it. Nice little high draw. That was the best one you hit today. Now I don't want to over-teach. So to me, we don't want to pile on here. I want us to just focus on this right now. Very nice. A little better? Yes. You're trying to put your hip in charge. That's the engine of the swing. Your hands and arms almost become passengers now, just along for the ride. They're no longer the engine. This here's the engine. That's the engine. You're almost quieting your hands a little bit. Next week you'll call me about, man, I'm hitting everything to the right. That's good tempo there. You didn't overdo it. You just kind of natural speed, natural athletic move there. Set up, don't swing, hit the next one. Go ahead and set up to get ready to get it. Okay, don't move. Just stay right where you are, but let me have your club. All right, now step away. Okay. I would like for you to stand just a little taller and a few inches closer. Okay. So the handle's going to come up just a little bit. Let's try a few swings. Okay, here you can see, I'm comparing you to Tiger. I flipped him around so he's left-handed. And you see how his hands are hanging almost under his shoulders directly, but just a little bit of an angle. And the distance between the butt end of the handle and his legs is not very much, just a little space there. 82 degrees is the angle of his hanging arms. And you're 60 degrees, so there's a 22-degree difference in the angle there. You're reaching out much more than he is and have much more of a space there. Just a small incremental adjustment. So you just feel like you're just standing a little taller, so your hands are kind of hanging more under your shoulders, not reaching out quite as much. Is that what that feels like to you?
Yeah.
All right, let's hit a few with that. Should change the geometry a little bit. Let's keep working with that. Best you've hit. Let me set up one more time. There's one little test you can do to kind of evaluate your spacing here. If I let my left hand fall off of the club, it falls into here. This is what I call the gravity line. This is where this is the line that that gravity places my hand on. And I don't want your golf swing fighting. As you're coming down, gravity's wanting to pull that hand in. And you're having to resist gravity to keep it out there where it needs to be, because you started it here, it's got to return here. But gravity is going to be fighting you and wanting to bring it in. And you're having to fight it to keep it out. And it's going to have an impact on all the timing of this, of the rotation, and the pathway, and everything else. When you stood closer, you got closer to where this hand is falling. So I want you to set up in your new place. First set up in if you can remember, your old place. Now let your left hand just hang, fall dead limp. That's quite a bit of a drop. So now stand closer so that when you let it fall, it doesn't fall that far away. It doesn't have to be right on it, but it's going to be much closer to your right hand now. So that's one way of knowing if you are working on the new setup. Because gravity is always going to be the same around you, so you can always use that. Where does my left hand hang when I just let it go limp? It's at the same place I've been training. That looks good right there. Okay, good.
Daryl, this is your driver swing, and we made a little bit of adjustments in your setup so you're not reaching quite so far. You can see on the left that you're reaching quite a bit. On the right, you're standing a little bit closer, a little bit taller to the ball. There's a 10-degree difference in how your arms hang from your shoulders there. It's a much better setup on the right.
In geometry, the club face, if we drew a right angle off of it and drew that arrow, that's really called the face vector. That's where the face is pointing. So that arrow off the face is a vector. The direction of the path, if I drew a line, an arrow of the path, that's the path vector. If we've got a face vector here and a path vector here, it's going to curve over. Curve left. If we have the face vector here and the path vector out, it's going to curve to the right. If we have the vectors on top of each other, it's just going to go dead straight. If you have a big difference between the two vectors, you're going to have a big curve, either a big slice or a big draw hook. The closer we can get these vectors, the smaller the curve. So we don't always need to hit it straight. We just want we want the two vectors close to each other so that it's reasonably straight with small curves. And we've kind of fixed the face vector. The face vector's going to our target, but the path vector's not. So we're standing closer, and we've teed it more to our right side than we were earlier. Getting under it a little bit, but you have reduced the curve.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's keep working with that tee height. I like that. That was struck more solidly.
Daryl, one of the other changes we made with your driver was move the ball a little bit more forward, but you had a tendency to want to push your hands more forward. On the left, you were setting up, and you're really getting much further out there. And you can see this angle between your left arm and shaft of the club, and that became a much better position.
That's something we can work with right there.
Yeah. That felt good.
That was really good. Okay, so it's a little bit of that old one, but it wasn't as quick a hook. So the geometry is starting to get a little bit more sane. That's a good ball. In fact, if that became your pattern, we would actually play for that. You know, we'd play the draw. That's a nice high draw. Excellent ball there.
It's strong.
Very nice draw. High draw, much straighter. Good shot, Daryl. I like all of these, even though they're not, you know, as playable as we would like them to be. We finally got enough of these. Our pattern is certainly much more manageable. That's a good ball. I mean, it's certainly playable. Got under it just a fraction, but man, that's just dead straight.
Playable's good.
That's right. All right, one more swing and that's it.
There you go.
I care about that one. That's a great shot.